In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, praise be to God, the cherisher and sustainer of the world, most gracious, most merciful, master of the day of judgment. Thee do we worship, and thine aid we seek. Show us the straight way, the way of those on whom thou hast bestowed thy grace, those whose portion is not wrath, and who go not astray. Hello everyone, my name is Andrew Leroy Harris. I am the ambassador for the New Church of Christians here in America. You can think of me as the ambassador for Christ. Welcome to our New Church of Christians. How can Christians be a new church, you might wonder? The Christian believers are the church, particularly when they rally around Christ, wherever and whenever. This is our 10th meeting. And now, it is a time to enlighten you for the sake of your soul and its eternal possibility to conscious existence hereafter. There has to be a method to this madness, and it is. One must focus on the nature of the light. The only time the Christians really talk about the light is when Jesus identifies himself as the light of the world, promising that those who follow him will have the light of life and will not walk in darkness. When the Spirit becomes fully aware of its own essence, it becomes conscious of its existence, which is the soul. And this life reflection of these two entities becomes one in the light. So then, the reality of the spirit and the soul are love light. Love light. The nature of the light is visibility, or so it appears. But the lesson of the light is growth in consciousness. It describes the experience of how it becomes or how it comes to be. The light is often associated with wisdom and intellectual advances, but the real importance of light and its purpose is consciousness. The idea that light shows up all material things makes it non-physical. Light is non-physical. The light was derived from love to self-subsist in spite of the physicality of creation. That's the light. So then, the nature of love is one's inclination and determination towards life, seeking its light. It is also accepted by most people as the seat of all emotions, usually initiated from care. In the emotions of love, one experiences no desire to discontinue the Spirit's grasp for life. This is real news for the Christians, the legacy of Jesus' life as the Savior of the world, because love has always saved worlds. For some Christians, the light may be too brightly simple for their immediate understandings. But as believers operating with love, they should all aim to be the best Christians they could be by seeking the light. The real godly men are human beings, the accomplished souls of the light. Accomplished souls of the light, the godly men. In the Holy Quran, it says, God is the light of the heavens and the earth. This means the Spirit has jurisdiction over the atmosphere and over the environment as the love light. The love light. The Christian religion before now should have been congregating, teaching security and salvation for the soul, instead of offering folly and confusion. The soul is the entity that receives all the attention the spirit can muster. And the destiny of the spirit is to become its soul in conscious knowing reality. So, every Christian's spirit needs the light for his or her personal salvation. But this Christian religion cannot serve you without the aid and reality of the light. Human, the enlightened being. Human is the enlightened being. To be human means one is or is becoming enlightened. These new Christians and others who aim to be the best in religious services will appreciate what I say about the human and being. The human identity alone depicts the thinking animal, the Homo sapien animal, whom evolved the employment of the human concept. At the same time, the 12 ethnic groups became known as man with the human spirit. The term human describes its own growth through the process of the plant, the botanical system, that is. And so, this human name strategically describes the journey of each individual endeavoring to become a conscious being. As a biological creature, the human spirit learns the meaning of life while seeking the light in the wilderness of the creation. In my books, I've explained and described aspects of the definition given to the human term. We know the human being seeks a permanent existence through experience. And that one must begin his or her journey by accepting the order to achieve the human pride, the human conscious life. The human conscious life is the pride. When one claims to be human, if one is not an accomplished human being who has already fixed his or her consciousness in knowing, can only be a practitioner. Practicing. This is not a bad thing, because this is where one starts to practice. For practice makes one's efforts perfect. One is practicing being human first by giving the spirit an identity, the human identity, for conscious thought. Man means mind, as the human being means spirituality, the metaphysical reality. Man took over the human office in order to direct his own traffic towards the ultimate light of life. Light of life. The conscious existence is the light of life. One's newly spirit is given the description of human identity to be made into reality. That's at the beginning. This is what our endeavor does with our experiences in the wilderness. Man invested his spirit completely into his human idea in order to escape the reality of the confinement of creation. And as a result, the light is then seen in its own distance as the human being. The human being is the only living spiritual creature that will remain existing after the entire creation has dissipated and passed away. True salvation is the victory of freedom of the spirit from material bondage. Every spirit is a prisoner in the biological captivity until it learns to escape through the light of its soul. Now, Christian believers, you now have a purpose. Yet, it is the choice that you as an individual must make. This is the meaning of the day of judgment. Every individual spirit must eventually make a decision revealing one's interest or no interest for life. This is the reason for the physical endeavor to give one the necessary experiences with life to make that decision. What do you decide? What do you decide? If you decide to become the human being, then you are interested in pursuing the life hereafter. If not, then you would be amongst those animal people who decided against real life, and you along with them will also perish, going out of existence with the creation. Abraham and his son Ishmael built the house of God to benefit all those deserving believers. He knew the entire creation would eventually come to an end, but he knew that his descendants would be safe in the house as he had prayed and planned for. The wilderness of the creation depicts an extremely hostile place against the living, but it is the ideal place for the animals. those who prefer the physical life. It is the proverbial furnace that Abraham had been saved from the detriments of savage people. While those spiritual creatures, the human beings, are successful and secure in their atmosphere, habituating in the house of God. The house of God represents the dwelling area for all those human beings established in their humanity. This is the real and permanent humanity called the firmament, the hereafter, but firmly affixed now in the atmosphere. This is that special place where all the righteous souls wait for the actual demise of the entire cosmos. This is it. So then, the house of God also depicts the firmament, where all those righteous believers enjoy superb hospitality with each other, now and hereafter. No animal people will ever succeed as members of this exalted brotherhood in the air, the atmosphere. In the wilderness, there are many other people habituating there with their gods. Then uprose 12 ethnic groups who united themselves for support that caused them to share in the same worship for health and security of the total groups. This body of ethnic groups became familiar with the mother book of man's nature. The head ethnic group selected from the 12 groups became the guardian of the mother book. Those godly men managed the administrative duty of implementing services to every people in need. These 12 ethnic groups had experienced the supervision and the command of the collective constitutions of the mother book, called the divine mind. It takes a collection of human beings to operate the effects of the divine mind. No one man can take over its power. Godly men are called divine. Those men who behave in excellent human character and as human beings are recognized as such. Remember, only the spiritual being can transcend this physical creation into another existence hereafter. Our God, the God of Abraham, is the living God of all his descendants. We are entitled to know the God of our Father. We are entitled. Those that guard the mother book also guard the pathway to the object of life for all men. The divine mind knows the fate of all things and all living creatures in the wilderness of the creation. If it were not for the divine mind, we wouldn't know the God of Abraham. Abraham's family is protected according to certain records and the scheduled services of the divine mind. The divine mind regulates the flow of all traffic in the harvest period, and then reset the seasons that start new cycles. The divine mind separates the fruit and the produce of the garden from those unusable and those unripe. The divine mind represents the law of one, because it consists of the total human consciousness, the total human consciousness. The human nature is the fuel for the spiritual fire of conscious knowing that must continue to combust with activity for eternal luminosity. I said that to say this. There are many other people who worship different gods and deities. So happen, we are descendants of a father who has arranged for his family of members to be safe and protected from random gods or deities. Remember, Abraham is a friend of God, and his prayer has already been answered, believe it or not. So, it is just a matter of his descendants collecting their heritage in the conviction to Abraham's God. Abraham prayed to his God for the salvation of his children and their guidance. And now we have the Holy Quran and the church house sent to the believers of Abraham's family from the divine mind as a result of the prayer, Abraham's prayer. The guardian, the divine mind, assisted all those other people in the wilderness with their needs. And many of them never knew who, but believed the help came from a higher power they called God. People for the longest time in most cultures believed in some type of higher power that occasionally bestowed blessings on the misfortunate ones or people. I mean, this went on for a while, and it still goes on right now. Every human being aims to achieve the light of life. And the light of life is one with the conscious life as existence. The light is one spiritual accomplishment and proof from a living being's essence. And the essence of light is connected to life and existence in the hereafter. This is when man is considered divine, when one achieves the light of life. He is seen as a divine human personality, a godly man. You can see this light in the persons of sages, saints, prophets, and even messengers. Their glorious lives were accomplished with the reality of the light. This harvest time allows one to measure his or her progress towards the object of life. Also, it is the time to decide the life one chooses from using the love light staff. The love light staff. You have to use it. The guardians guide us with instructions in the Holy Quran as to how and when to take shelter from the savage storms of the animal people. The guardians know the seasons and the weather of all things and people. All people have been guided towards the object of light at some point in their livelihoods by the guardian family, whether they know it or not. Like now, most people claim they would love to live forever, but they don't bother to look for the possibility of such a thought. So this is the perfect time for a people or a person to become or take on a new identity. To identify one's individual spirit turns one in that direction with love. As long as the human idea is the infrastructure of any ethnic claim, makes it most difficult to impede by the animal people. Don't forget, the animal people's season has come to an end, and in the name of humanity, an ethnic group can become highly dignified human beings merely by claim and practice. Claim and practice. There are no shortcuts to enlightenment. It can only be accomplished by the self for the self. If one have no knowledge of self, then enlightenment will be rather impossible. Our church is in pursuit of the light. And by that effort, we choose the human identity to capture its reality, now and hereafter. If you recall, many people refer to Jesus as the symbol of light. Did not Jesus say he is the light of the world? And that those who are true to the religion will receive the light of life? When Jesus said he is the light of the world, he meant that his human dignity would be contagious and would affect all people for humanity's sake. His presence was supposed to be the human character. This is the light all people shall see. All people. Our Christian religion has always been designated the host of this harvest season. And we should shine the light of human presence upon all people, everywhere, focusing on their behavior. We will be the best in sharing love and teaching human hospitality with those deserving ones. Those deserving ones. Let me mention this right here. Many slave descendants are Christians too, even if they don't have an ethnic identity. The world right now is only concerned with material prosperity, compelled by desperation. So now, while all that's going on, slave descendants can take advantage of the season and become a real ethnic family group with an identity. The human idea is light because Jesus was deemed a human being. And all matured human beings become the light that dispels the darkness, ignorance, and even death. The light depicts the obvious truth in mental consciousness. We are the light in human consciousness. The conscience of the spirit is reflected in the light. And consciousness gives reality to knowing the light. The enlightenment for the new church Christian exists in the human family livelihood. As Christians, we must work to enlighten ourselves with the human spirit and then share that light with the rest of the world for the new world order. There are many religions and deities in the world over, but our Christian religion is our hope and our promise for the salvation that we will share with the rest of the world. Yet, we must be true to our God, the God of Abraham, because those many other people the world over, they worship other gods, not like our God, the divine mind. The animal people have tried to discredit the spiritual authority of the human concept since man's beginning. And due to the law of free will, they are given a season to express their nature. And that season now has come to its end. The animal people have no idea of their limited access to the environment now. They don't know what's going on right now, most of them. The humans, at the time of Jesus, just stepped back to let the animal people have their day. It was their time. Let them have their day. But then, they just don't go away after their season is done. We are then compelled to put them away. Remember, as animals, they don't observe any rational principles of cooperation. So now you see where the actual scuffle takes place and why. Don't forget, the harvest is for the separation of those believers who believed before from those who do not believe. The belief and the disbelief are embedded in the genetic essence of the Homo sapiens from the beginning. So, the animal people and the non-animal people are in permanent conflict over the possession of the material earth. Remember, all light beings reside in the air, the atmosphere, with access to the environment. Can you imagine Christians becoming light beings and dominating the air? Thus, the human being. Our church is a symbol of God's house. But in the atmosphere, it's the air. When we live the human life and livelihood in the metaphysical zone, The animal people cannot follow us there, because the animal people are gross by nature. They cannot enter an area of existence that is fine, so very fine, even finer than the air we breathe. They cannot go. This is a perfect opportunity for a people such as the slave descendants to claim a new identity with the family of Abraham in the human spirit. This is the time. Now, today, I can claim with dignity that I am a descendant of Bilal ibn Rabah, as Bilal-in. Bilal-in. I am a Bilal-in. I am first a human being practicing my human character, and second, I am a human ethnic being wearing my human ethnic identity that demonstrates my newfound freedom and authority. Let me say, we now know our Christian work is about propagating the human being, and it is also about building the house of God. And the house of God depicts the family, the brotherhood, and humanity. Our new Christians must become eager to convince other people that Jesus and Christ are human beings. This effort is their trial and test of faith, and to encourage others to assist in the construction of God's house is dignified work. Some Christians will need some encouragement to get into the Christ spirit and learn to call the believers to prayer. But they will be happier and satisfied after they get started. I think, and I have reason to believe, that the slave descendants are more suitable to be diplomats for Christ, the human being, than any other people. I am convinced that there are no other people who can talk about being human than the slave descendants and the Indians here in America. Also, the slave descendants here in America don't have an identity or any real connection to any real human family. Now is the time to lay down a real family foundation for a lost people. Identify yourselves for your ethnic respect and your ethnic sovereignty. Anyone claiming to be black claims no identity. Black means ignorance, void, and empty. Any person discovered using that term for identity is no doubt ignorant. The term black served its purpose when it did, but now it is passé. Today, you must identify yourself. Christianity is here to give any people the infrastructure of family order and civil organization as service to their ethnic self through others in the same condition. A family is a concerted operation of members that sustain its body of self. Many ethnic groups who have realized this family principle and function are now ethnic dignitaries, sovereign states, sovereignty families. The absence of the human presence was a result of slavery. No true human beings would own any slaves or another person and would not permit it. So the act of slavery cancels out the presence of the human life for that person or people, even for the slave owner. Cancels it out. I say the slave descendants are the ones who should be advocating the return of the human being to the world. They themselves were stripped of their identity and humanity for the pleasure and profits of the animal people. So they know what it is like treated other than human. They are the ones who know what is missing. They and the American Indians, they know what needs to be done to restore humanity. Christianity is the ambassador for Christians. I am the ambassador for Christ, but the Christians is the ambassador for Christians. Christianity is the ambassador for Christians. The human concept has the power to raise a people to dignity and honor in the human character. And the slave descendants and the Indians have this stature to achieve on the battlefield of the wilderness. In this church, one can embark upon a claim to an ethnic origin and even take on its history and heritage as one's own. The slave descendants are the newest people on the planet, and God has favored them to assist in hosting the reawakening of the human being. And I see the Indians as teammates and even companions with us, working together for Christ. I have to tell you though, I am a descendant of slaves myself, but I first had to consider myself an ethnic orphan in need of an identity. Claiming to be African American, I realized was not an identity, and it did nothing for my direction in life. In order to begin the ethnic transition, one must declare to self and others his or her ethnic orphan status. But now, discards it. Discards its reality by replacing it with an ethnic identity. I was raised to be a Christian, but with little or no understanding of it. But then later, I discovered Abraham, the patriarch, and learned the truer version of Christianity. So now, I take on an ethnic identity from his family to be learned and developed by the human concept. The human concept is the key. I chose to link myself to Abraham's family and accept his entire heritage. I took on the name of one of his descendants named Bilal ibn Rabah. Bilal himself was a Christian and a slave. He then, after being freed from slavery, became a highly honored and dignified human being. He is known for his beautiful voice when he called the believers to prayer. Now, I can claim with dignity that I am a descendant of Bilal ibn Rabah. I am Bilal ibn Bilal ibn Rabah descends from Abraham, Ishmael, and Hagar, their wife and mother of the house. I can now claim that family heritage in the name of Bilal ibn Rabah. I now have a genuine identity and a real ethnic heritage. As a Christian, I have found the truth about myself, God, and the Creator. So as far as I'm concerned, I am wealthy with potential and possibilities. And as a human being, it is my duty to unite with all the righteous believers in order to build a house of God. Any ethnic group that makes its social foundation the human family will not only build their house of security, but will also reside in it and enjoy supreme hospitality and brotherhood. Those Christian believers who desire to take on a real ethnic identity can achieve that with this new church as Christians. As a church, we are already a family with the program that initiate members who need to know each the other. Though our main work is done in the atmosphere, the ethnic family has access to two worlds, but must meet strategically to cultivate the environment. Our ethnic members must meet in their physical edifice, or building, if you want to say, as part of their church gatherings in the environment. This is the end of the 10 new church videos on the 8 Christian tenets. We as new Christians can now meet in the air. Remember, we meet our Lord in the air. Before we can get control of the environment, we must first control the atmosphere. Study these 10 videos to better understand what membership would be like for you, what your work would be like for you. You should come to realize the importance of your work as human beings, constructing the house of God for our own religious security and family well-being. That's the work. For the believers, God protects those in the house of our Christian church. God has favored us, the new church, to host the Harvest Day. But remember, nothing can happen to any one of us except by God's permission. The scripture says regarding us in the air, then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And so shall we ever be with the Lord. Wherefore, comfort one another with these words. You can communicate with me through your comments. I will respond and even inform you about any local meetings scheduled near you. So in order to become a new member of our new church, take up this cross, assured, and follow me. But we must first meet in the air, and then we start to work on the ground. This concludes our conversation on enlightenment. Please be sure to join me in the brotherhood of our new church and our new life in the air. I pray that I've said something useful and nourishing. I really look forward to our next meeting in our Christian's atmosphere. I leave you in the love and the light of the infinite Creator, so you can now rejoice in the presence and in the peace of Christ. Be sure to subscribe and leave your comments below so I can get to know you better and count you and me together amongst the righteous in our human hospitality. Come to prayer. Come to success. Amen.